Hello everybody, Tiffany from Dragonflyer Studios with you. So in the last couple videos that I posted, somebody left a comment about different ways to bind journals. I always do, well always have, I don't want to say always do because I am experimenting with some new things. However, for instance, in my Catching Fire journal, most of my signatures are folded and then sewn in that way. And this viewer asked how she would go about binding a book if the signatures weren't folded, specifically an 8.5 by 11, where you just use, a whole sheet of paper that you don't want to take and then fold in half. She wants to be able to use this whole sheet and have that as a journal page. So I did some research and I found a method that I think everybody could do, and so I've been practicing with it, and I kind of want to show you step by step on how to do it. So materials that you need. I'm gonna pretend that these little note cards are 8.5 by 11, so if you'll notice they're not folded. I have already gone through with my awl and punched some holes in them where I want my stitches to go. Now you can do as many holes or as few holes as you want. I've done a couple of different methods so far, and it just depends on how much time you have for the stitching. This method of stitching does take quite a significant amount more of time than the 3 stitches on a folded signature. And then I just found a piece of chipboard something or other, I don't know where it came from. Anyway, and I cut a front and a back cover. Now these are 3 by 5, so I cut my cover at 3.5 by 5, which now that I see it, I'm probably going to end up trimming this part down. Anyway, just so I would have a little bit of a top and a bottom and a little bit of a lip, so that once I start decorating my journal, I'll have, some room for tabs or little frillies or whatever to stick out. And I actually am going to turn this into a working journal. It'll be my first, what I consider to be a mini journal. So I just took one of the index cards and I just laid it over the top. Make sure that your edges on the spine side, on the back side, are lining up straight. And then I just used my awl. Actually, I took a pen, marked the holes, pulled this off, and then used my awl to punch the holes to match up with the holes in the index cards. And this will be my front and my back covers. Okay, then I have a binding needle. This is also used for leather work. It came in my binding kit. These curved needles will work really well like this because you're not going to have the spacing to really move a flat needle around. It can start to hurt your finger, so there's that. And you're going to want to get, unless you're just really great at threading and rethreading a needle, or if you have multiple needles, that will also work. You just got to keep your threads straight. I found my little needle threader super duper handy for this. You want to test it if you're using this kind. If you're using the, let's see, where did it go? If you're using the wire kind, this little jammer here, you just want to make sure that this part, the wire part, is small enough to go through the eye of your needle. Okay, so there you have it. And then I'll show you how to go about doing that. So setup's pretty easy. Oh, and then I'm just using embroidery floss. I tried it with waxed thread that I normally use for my regular binding. The wax on it makes it really hard to get nice tight taut knots, and with this kind of binding, if you don't tie the knots correctly, your book is going to be very unstable. So I'm using embroidery floss. You don't need a whole lot because I'm not a whole lot of thread, and I'm just doing 10 pages. So, as an example, and as my first. So I'm just going to cut 3 different lengths of thread. And and you could use all different colors if you wanted to. Go crazy with it. Have fun like always. But I'm going to do this in real time with you, and hopefully it won't take us 14.5 days to bind one book. No promises. Okay, so what I did to start out with, I'm just going to separate my threads, otherwise they'll get all kinds of bunched up, is take your back cover. You just want to put your thread through. I'll try and stay on camera, sorry. Put your thread through. See, I'm using embroidery floss and it's already going to be difficult. I'm trying not to have to thread that needle, but I guess we're going to have to. So, to thread a needle, take a needle, needle threader, put it through the eye, You hook your thread in there and you pull it through. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? And then we're just going to poke that through the first hole, take it off the needle, and you want to tie this string on. Now, you want a small tail on the end, but give yourself enough room. You know, I got chubby fingers, so I just work with what you can. You want to keep your knot towards the edge of your book. I'm going to move the camera because what happens is I get working close to me and then I'm off frame. So you want your knot to be over here on the spine side as close as possible. And then you're just going to tie another knot. Keep that nice and tight, but don't pull it so taut that you're going to rip through your hole, which I just about did there. And then I just take this little guy here and I run it under my loop with my tweezers, like so, and then I just cut off the excess. Okay, so that's what you should have. So that's what we'll do for the next two. If I feel like this is going to get too tedious, I may pause the video and do a couple steps and then come back to you. But I don't want to skip a whole lot, as this really is a how-to. And the person who asked for it, I really want to give them all the information that they asked for. It was really fun learning this process. I'm definitely going to use it again in the future. This would be fun if you were making like an all chipboard scrapbook where all the pages are made out of this thicker cardboard-like material. It's always fun to have different techniques and use different techniques and things of that nature. So again, I'm just poking my tweezers through there, grabbing that thread, maybe. I'm just going to pull it back through. Ugh, embroidery floss. This is why I don't use embroidery floss a lot. It wants to separate when you don't want it to separate, but then the minute you need one of those little tiny threads, it's like, no thread left behind, and they won't separate from their buddies to save their lives. Okay, so then we just pull that through and trim it off. I already feel like those knots are trying to come undone, which worries me a little bit, but we shall carry on. Okay, one more time. I'm going to see if I can't get this guy to go through there without having to thread a needle. Woohoo! Look, he understood the assignment. Okay. So again, just going to tie this knot. Like I said, this way, binding this way, I have found much more tedious than the stitching of the signatures. But, you know, it's art. Gotta suffer for your art sometimes. Gotta put in the work. See, look, there's that guy. He's like, I'm not going with those guys. I don't know what those tweezers want with me. I'm staying over here. My mama told me not to talk to strangers. Those tweezers are strangers. Okay. So, there we go. We've got our knots tied. They are secure. Put that in air quotes. I really don't like using embroidery floss. It does have a tendency to come untied. So, maybe put a dot of glue on there or something. Okay, so here is where it gets a little, well, a little processy. If that's even a word. So, what we're going to do, we're going to take our first page, we're going to lay it on top, we're going to take our needle threader, put that through there, we're going to thread our top thread. Now, I'm going to try a different technique than I did on the last little binder that I tested this on. What I did was I sewed this one, second page, this one, third page, this one, fourth page. What I did find out is you can't sew multiple pages at once, because if you do, say there's 3 or 4 pages here and you want to sew them all together to make it quick, you can do that. But when you go to open your journal, it's not going to lay flat. They won't lay like this. what you'll end up having to do is you'll end up having to crease your page when the journal is open to turn it, which is fine. If you're okay with that, then by all means put 5 or 6 pages together and make like a signature. Just know that the book's not going to lay flat. You're going to have to fold those pages to get them to flip over to the left hand side. So I'm going for the lay flat style. So here we go. I'm going to try and do this up close because it is small. Now, assuming this is an 8.5 by 11, the easiest thing to do is to move this over to the edge of the table and work there so that you can go up and down, up and down. Okay, so to start off with, you're going to go from here. You're going to go through the top of your page and out the bottom. You're going to pull your string down tight. Okay, and you want it over to the edge. And then what you want to be able to do is, with your string nice and tight so that there's no slack, you want to go through the original loop that you made with your tie on. Okay? And you're just going to pull that through. Whoops, and my thread came out. Okay? And you just want to make sure that that's nice and secure. But again, don't pull it so tight that you're ripping through the paper. It takes a delicate touch, so to speak. Okay, so we're gonna try and quick thread that needle. Okay, now I'm gonna take the second page and you're gonna do the same technique. There's only one thing you're gonna change. You're gonna go down through the top. You're gonna come down here. Okay, you're gonna make sure that your string gets pulled tight. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go through that original stitch. We're going to go in between the pages that we've sewn on. And we're going to go, if you can see this, I'm sorry, try to keep it not blurry. You're going to go in between the pages that you've sewn. You're going to go, here, you know what, I can pull it tight. Let's see if I can give you guys a little more visual. There we go. So you've gone through the top. You've come out the bottom. You're going to take your needle and you're going to go through the top stitch on the page underneath. Okay? And then you're going to come out the side. So you should have something that looks like this. Okay? So now you can pull your stitch tight. Try not to rip your page. And then pull this string here and bring that knot down to secure your second page to your first page. Okay, now grab third page. We're gonna do the same thing, and I'll repeat this all the way through. You're gonna go top, under. You're gonna pull it through here. Let's get all these out of the way. Okay, so here we are. We've gone top, under, out to the side. You're gonna bring this guy through. You want to make sure you're going under, under, under. Not under, under, over, because then your knot's going to be in the wrong place and your pages aren't going to sit accurate. So you want to go under here, under the side. Okay? And just pull it straight out through. Oops, my needle. Just going to pull it straight out through. So then what you want to do is you want to pull this one. You want to pull the string that just comes through the hole until your pages line up. Okay? Again, keep it tight, but don't rip your hole out. Then you want to pull the string that's in your right hand to tighten that knot down, like so. And until you get this hole and this hole sewn, your whole thing's going to do this because you've only got one hole anchoring it in place. Okay? I'm going to do 3 or 4 pages like this, and then I'll show you how to do the other anchors that will start to tighten everything up and make it feel more like a book. So here we go. Top, down, okay, out to the side. We're going to go under the loop on the page, under the string, pull it out to the side. With the string in your left hand, now I'm right-handed, so if you have to work left-handed, this will be reversed for you. With the string in the left hand, you're going to bring your page up to where it needs to lie with the rest of the group. Okay, whoops, and you're going to pull it taut. Okay, hold your page down, string in your right hand, you're going to tighten that knot. Okay, next page, bring it in. We're going to go over the top, go out to the side, keep this string in your left hand, go under, under, out to the side. With the string in your left hand, you bring your page in tight. Oops. Bring your page in tight. String in your right hand, tighten down the knot. Okay? And then eventually, as you start to go, you get this wonderful, beautiful little braided pattern. Let's see if you can see that, if I can bring it into focus. You get this wonderful little braided pattern. Okay? So now, we're going to abandon that thread. I'm going to go to your middle thread. What you don't want to do, unless you've got really tiny fingers, and I do not, what you don't want to do is do this end and then try to do the middle. I made that mistake thinking, oh, I could anchor it and keep everything sturdy and then go back and do the middle. Don't do it. Again, unless you have super tiny fingers or the patience of, I don't know, the Dalai Lama himself. Go top to bottom, bottom to top, but don't do top, bottom, and middle. Because what it does is it stops your ability to move this around. You're gonna need that give when you start your stitches, because otherwise there might be stress. There might be stress levels. I'm just saying. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna slide your top pages out of the way. Same process as before. You're gonna go top, okay, out to the side. Keep my needle in my right hand. Hold on to this string, okay? And now we're just going through that original loop that we tied onto the cover with, okay? So we're going to use the string in the left hand to tighten up our page, which this one's not going to have much to pull because it's tied to the back cover. And then we're going to use the string in the right hand to cinch that down and bring it around to the edge. Okay, then we'll come here, get our second page, and repeat. Now, top to the bottom, come out to the side on your left. I keep my needle in my right hand, hold on to the string in the left. We're gonna go, oh, it's all twisty. We're gonna go under, under, and technically we're under this string because it's pulled out of the way. Okay, use the string on our left hand to bring our page into position. Careful not to rip out that knot. Then we're going to use the string in the right hand to tighten down the, sorry, not to rip out the knot, rip out the hole. Okay, it goes pretty quickly once you get into the rhythm of it. If you're just starting and it's taking your time, just like anything else new, you know, just be patient with yourself. If you rip out a hole, you're just going to have to either rip that card out or undo your stitches, which can be a pain. So here we go, page 3. We're going in from the side. Okay, this string, whoops, stays in my left hand, needle in my right. I go under, under, out to the side. Okay, I use my left hand to pull my card in tight. Maybe. Oh, there we go. And then I use my right hand to tighten down the knot. And we're moving. We're moving. We're grooving. Okay, here we go. Top down to the bottom. String in my left hand. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go under, under, and out. Use that left hand to bring my card in tight. Right hand to tighten down the knot. Okay, and then top card, or at least the top right now. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing great. Okay, so we're just going to come in, keep this string in my left hand. I'm going to scooch this back a bit. I'm going to go under, under and out to the side. Use that left hand to pull that card into place. Okay, and then that right hand to tighten the knot. And then it starts to get more sturdy. So next we'll do the third string. And if you want to check to make sure that you haven't fouled up the system, you just want to be able to take this and flip it over left. See how it lays down nice and flat? And then you should be able to flip each individual page of its own volition and keep it nice and flat for journaling purposes or embellishments or whatever have you like that. Okay, so I am running out of time on my camera for as far as storage space goes. It just alerted me, so I want to be able to get you from start to finish. So you would just do these pages the same way, and then when it comes time to add your cover, you're just going to treat it like a page, and I'm going to show you how to tie it off. So you just start top to underside. Okay, you're going to go through this one here. Okay, get out of the way. Okay, you're just going to use your left hand to pull your cover in nice and even with everything else. Right hand to tighten down your knot. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come back with your needle and you're going to go between your page and your cover. Right, I'm running it underneath that thread again. And then just like in sewing, oops, don't tighten the loop down all the way. Just like in sewing. So I've gone under here. I'm going to come back under here and I'm going to create a nice little knot to tie that off. And then you can trim this and you have a cover for your book. So there's how you can create stitches in binding. This is one method. There's, I don't know, probably dozens if not hundreds out there that you could do, and regardless of how big of a page you're working with, you could create a journal of any size where your signatures don't absolutely have to be folded in half. So then what you could do is once this is done, you could come and cover this with a piece of say this is fabric. Okay, you could come in here and you could cover this like this if you genuinely wanted to hide all that, and it would give a little more stability to the whole thing. Just know that whenever you open it, it's going to create, it won't, that back part back there won't stay straight. You'll have a bubble in it because as you add more pages, this gap between here is going to get significantly bigger. But otherwise, that's how you can make a flat fold, or I'm sorry, a flat lying, no folded signature journal. So I'm going to call this the braided binding technique. I don't even know. It may have an actual binding technique in the book binding business, but that's how I figured out how to do it from the videos and stuff that I have seen. So I am going to put a little more finesse into this guy. I'm going to go and do some cover work on his covers first and make him all pretty, and then maybe add some colored pages or something in there other than just index cards. But I really like it. He's 3.5 by 5.5. So I just wanted to I wanted to give you guys that binding technique to the person who commented and asked a question. I love comments like this. I love things that my brain's like, ooh, I don't know how to do that. Let's go find out how to do that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. If you're new, hit that like and subscribe button. I have content that comes out 3 times a week. Used to always be Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And life is just crazy. So it's at least 3 times a week, if not more. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks for the comments, guys. I appreciate all of you. Please leave a comment. I do answer them all. And this is Tiffany from Dragonflyer Studios. Until next time, thank you for watching. Bye.